Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Reyzan Shali, a physician who places her family at the top of her priority list while committing to giving back to the elderly population and attempting to serve more people. What an altruistic purpose in life that sounds, Dr. Shali. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Star. So I am originally a Kurdish woman from the Kurdistan region of Iraq. My parents are from that region. I was actually born and raised in Baghdad. Growing up, I'm the youngest of nine. I had a wonderful upbringing. I had very supportive parents. I was, like I said, the youngest of nine. So all my siblings will tell you that I was very spoiled and well cared for. I remember seeing other members of the family, older members of the family, become physicians, and I was fascinated by their ability to help others. People would come to them feeling very ill, feeling very distressed, feeling very nervous about what's going on. And 2 days later, they're perfectly fine. So I was always fascinated by their wealth of knowledge, first of all, and how capable they were to help others and make others feel better. So I decided to go to medical school, and I graduated medical school. And after I graduated, I always felt, in spite of my wonderful upbringing and supportive family, I felt that I was a little contained and trapped and boxed. So I had the will and the desire to leave. Life landed me in Michigan. I did my internship, my residency, my board certification in Michigan. And then my husband wanted to move to California because he had family in California. And I started my practice in Southern California, and I never left.
And I can hear such passion still in your voice. So it begs the question, what makes you passionate about your job?
So my father was a huge fan of Muhammad Ali, which makes me a huge fan of Muhammad Ali. So one of his quotes, I still remember it very well. One of Muhammad Ali's quotes is, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. I truly believe that, meaning the more, I shouldn't say older, the more mature I become, I truly believe that's our purpose, meaning I am here to be in service for others, my patients, my neighbors, my community, my family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think that's where the passion comes from. I want to do good for you. Mm-hmm. I want to serve. I'm not perfect at it, but I always have the good intentions of serving you well, serving my community well, people around me well. So I think that's where the passion is coming from.
You know, Dr. Shali, it's so interesting that you use that quote and talked a little bit about purpose. I've been studying that whole concept for many, many years. And what I have found is people are so always searching for purpose. But I believe very strongly that everyone has the same purpose, and that purpose is service. What our goal should be is to try to figure out how we can best serve.
Yep.
And I hear it that you are basically saying the exact same thing. Service should be where we all end up. And how we get there is really up to us to try to find the best way. And I'm glad that you have put yours in really serving the community. Tell me, what's the best or most rewarding part of your job?
Say the connections I've built over the years with my patients and their families. And like I said, the neighbors and the communities and my kids' schools and my kids' schools teachers and all that. The connections have been very, very awesome, wonderful, meaning I have to tell you, Star, healthcare has been a struggle to many people, meaning many people, many patients have felt betrayed by healthcare or healthcare providers at times in their lives, rightfully so. Um, so when they come to me and as they know me, then they start saying, I'm in a safe place with you. I want to stay with you. I fly all the way from Chicago to see you because I trust you. I feel I'm in good hands. I feel my 90-year-old mother is in good hands with you. I'm going to bring her to you. These comments, these connections, that human connection, I think is the best part of the job.
So, of course, then I have to do the opposite because the passion you bring to the job, the connections that you make on the job, that wakes us up every morning, that gets us going every morning. Well, what's the most difficult part of the job?
Oh, giving sad news or bad news to patients and families, people I've known for years and years and years, and then I have to confront the reality of giving them a very bad diagnosis, a terminal diagnosis. People I felt very attached to, they're attached to me, but now I have to tell them what's going on and face what's coming up. That gets me, that makes me lose sleep many, many nights.
Especially if it's something that was unexpected or something that you know is going to impact on families. I know you started off when we were talking about what was the best and most rewarding part of your job in talking about being connected to patients, because there's so much controversy around healthcare and science, which I don't understand. Healthcare should be about patient care. It should be about connections, as you so eloquently point it out. So I just say to you, why are you involved in the manner in which you are, and what makes you proud? We talked about what was best and what rewarding. We talked about what was difficult, but what makes you proud, Dr. Shali?
So in my career and outside my career and in life in general, what makes me proud are my two boys. I have their pictures all over my office. They're bigger gentlemen now. Kawan, my older son, is at UCLA. Kurdo, my younger son, is in George Washington. They are my pride and joy.
So, Dr. Shali, do you think you'd encourage your children to get into the same career you're involved in?
So I will support my boys in whatever decision they make and whatever career path they choose. I really never thought that either one of them will choose medicine because they saw the amount of work I put into it, the amount of passion I put into it, the many, 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 many sleepless nights, being on call day and night. So I thought they would not pick medicine. But interesting enough, my older one, Kuan, who's at UCLA, he's majoring in biochemistry. And this past summer, he was ascribed for an orthopedic surgeon, and he loved it. So I think medicine is in his path, and I think probably orthopedic surgeon is in his path. My younger one, Kurdo, wanted nothing to do with medicine. he went with computers.
He's like my son. Both my husband and I are both attorneys, and we co-parent with Jake's mom, and she's also an attorney. So the last thing Jake wants to do is be a lawyer.
Yep.
He sounds just like your youngest son.
Yep.
Just like your youngest son. So I understand you are quite the Renaissance woman, and you, like me, are now a published author. Tell me why you decided to write a book.
So as I mentioned earlier, I'm the youngest of 9, and I think all my siblings will agree with me. We believe we had the greatest parents in the world. So when I left and came to the US, it was very hard for me to leave my parents and my family because I was very attached to them. A number of years later, we lost my father due to lung cancer. He was a heavy smoker for many, many years. That's what people used to do back then. So in order to honor my father, I wanted to write a book. And obviously, what I know is medicine. So I wanted to write a book about smoking, lung cancer, cancer in general, ways to prevent it, how to screen for it, what's the best diet to prevent it. I talk a lot about Mediterranean diet, which many of us in the medical field believe it's the best diet for our health in general. So I started writing the book to honor my father. I was planning to fly to my mother and take the first copy to her. Um, but unfortunately, in that process, I lost my mother also. So then I dedicated the last chapter to honor her.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. So the book is basically to honor my parents and hopefully do some good, meaning let others know there are ways to prevent it. And if you are given a diagnosis of cancer one day, there are ways to fight it, and there are ways to prevail.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Again, I extend to you my condolences on the loss of your parents. That requires quite some resiliency. And I know when I was looking at your background, you have actually described yourself using that word. You said you are resilient. Tell me how you acquired that trait.
I believe I am resilient, and I've said it many times, and I'm going to say it again. A journey like mine, just like any other journey, cannot happen without the love and support of so many people, but definitely cannot happen without the doubt and rejections of so many more. So I think the doubts and the rejections and the no's that I received all throughout my lifetime, I think that was key in helping me build my resilience. So I always tell younger people, it hurts when you get a no, it hurts when you get rejected, but over long term, you're going to understand that will build character, that will build resilience, that will build strength. So over long term, those failures and those rejections are a good thing.
I absolutely agree with you. I often say that I learned more from my setbacks than I do from my successes, because you have to figure out how to get around or over or through a setback. A success always feels really good, but a setback makes you have to sort of recalibrate and recalculate how you're going to approach something. And so you learn so much more from those setbacks. That's some of your advice for younger generation. Let me get more specific. What would you say to a younger person who is actually interested in pursuing a career in the medical field? Because obviously, in order for you to be as successful as you are, it required that level of passion that you brought to it. What would you say to somebody else?
I say that your career will be a roller coaster ride, meaning there will be ups and many downs. There's a lot of joy in what we do. Like I said, being available to be of service for others, making someone comfortable, making someone happy and give them a peace of mind is tremendously joyous. But there are also many downs and many negatives. It's not an easy job, but it's a very rewarding job emotionally, in my opinion. And I always tell young people will come at you with a lot of negativity, because that's what some people do. They tell you you're not good enough. They tell you you're not going to make it. They tell you who you think you are. They tell you you're not smart enough. But hopefully it'll take you, this 17-year-old or 19-year-old I'm talking to, hopefully it'll take you a little shorter time than me for you to understand that all that negativity has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their reflection of their insecurities on you. Meaning they're gonna throw a lot of negativities on you. You just stay the course.
Dr. Shali, as we come to a conclusion, I'd love to know what's the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with today?
That I'm human, which means I'm flawed, which means I I am not perfect in any shape or form. I will never have all the right answers all the time for you. I will never be perfect at any moment. But I do want people to know that I will come forward to you with all the good intentions, meaning I always have the good intentions in my heart, in my mind for you. And I hope you feel that and see that.
Well, I can tell you that that is all that anybody can ever hope for, is that you come to a situation with the best intention and do the very best that you can do. And then at the end of the day, you go home and you feel like you've left your mark in a positive way. Because leaving your mark in a negative way can't make anybody feel good. And leaving your mark in a positive way, I think, is going to impact on our world so positively. Dr. Shali, thank you so very much for our time today and our conversation. I wish you the best with your career and the best with those big, tall men you call sons.
Yeah. My boys.
Your boys. Dr. Shali, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure.